Hello witches, and welcome back to A Coven of Two, where we discuss witchcraft and activism. You can call me Isha, my pronouns are she, they. And today is the 11th day of Yule. And on the 11th day of Yule, Ivy Core was brought to us. Share your self-care ritual for winter. But before we get started, let me mention that I've opened a Ko-fi, which is basically an alternative to Patreon that takes less from creators. And on there, you can do a one-off donation or a monthly subscription donation to support the work that I do here. And you can also get tarot readings. Donate what you can from £5 onwards, and you can get a tarot reading with me, Italian style. So if you would like to support what I do here, you can head on to Ko-fi, and if you do so, thank you so much. As I mentioned in yesterday's video, I have a slight concern that what feels like self-care to me might not necessarily sound the same to an holistic brain. And I'm saying that because I know that with my autism and OCD, what is self-care for me can just seem like an enormous spent amount of energy. So I'm just sharing what works for me, and I'm not, please don't judge, and I'm not judging anyone else with this. So as I mentioned before, something that really works for me and actually brings together my autistic brain and my witchcraft practice is the natural tendency that I have to ritualize things. I love repetition. I love knowing a certain kind of order in which things will always be done. And that reflects in a lot of my habits. Everything, in a way or another, is a habit in my life, and I have built it that way. And it gives me comfort. It makes me feel safe in knowing what's coming, basically. Does it make sense? Maybe it's related to my fear of death in that sense. Anyway, without getting lost too much in it, something that I find helps me a lot to keep my routine and therefore makes me feel safe and comfortable is this little app called Finch. My wife introduced me to this a few months ago. And basically what it does is, I think it tries to gamify self-care. Basically every day you can insert your own goals. And there are standard goals like getting out of bed. That is already a goal achieved. Getting out of the house, seeing the outside. And with that, I also put a lot of my daily ritual practices in. Basically, every time that you fulfill one of the goals, you give your finch, your little bird, some energy so that the little bird can go and explore, and then it comes back and it tells you that it loves you. And it's really nice. It's basically a Tamagotchi that takes care of you while you take care of it. And that's really, really cute to me. I also liked that Raven and I both had finches, so we could add each other as friends and we could send each other good encouraging messages. So actually, if you want to add me on Finch, if you have Finch, you can find my link down in the description below as well, and we can be Finch friends. There is a premium version, but I'm still going on the free one because I'm skint. But it's really nice, and it doesn't necessarily push you to do that in order to be able to use Finch to its fullest, so that's really nice. And some goals that I have personally added are part of my daily rituals. So I have my Vesta candles, that's one goal. I have my Venus candles, that's another goal. I have my ancestral candles, that's another thing. I have palming my eyes because it's part of my meditation, and while I palm my eyes for 5 minutes, I can also do the first exercise of Psychic Witch, counting backwards 100 to 1. One of my goals is to read something every day, so I have that, and ideally it's of course one of the occult witchcraft books that I have. And I also have a goal that is specifically about increasing visual fluidity. I think I read about it in Ivo Dominguez Jr. Keys to Perception, and to increase visual fluidity, to basically be able to see things in scrying, whether it's with smoke, with a flame, with anything like that, he advises to look at the sky and specifically at clouds daily for 5-10 minutes, so that basically you stimulate your visual fluidity in seeing shapes in the things that you see outside and technically are just random. But if you start to stimulate that muscle basically in your brain, that should help with scrying. So that's also a goal that I have in Finch. Then there are more practical things like going outside so that I'm not in the house the entire day. I have every other day that remember to clean the litter tray of the cats, which is absolutely fair. Remember to change the bedding at the end of the month. Remember to cleanse the house and purify the house at the end of the month. Remember to renew your wards. All those things go into Finch, and Finch reminds me, and I can keep up with that. And personally, I am very good with dopamine. It's actually a genetic variation that I have. We don't have to go into it, but basically in that sense I have the opposite of ADHD. I always have dopamine, which is probably the reason why you always see me kinda hyper. But at the same time, every time that you do a task and you flag it, done, it gives you energy, and I think that for people that have ADHD, that is kind of a good kind of reward, like I see it in Raven. Is it a good reward for you? She says yes. So that is part of what I do daily, basically, to try and do self-care and take care of myself and take care of the things that I care about. But sometimes, even good as I am at doing lists in my head, having something that lists everything so that I can flag it off really helps. And it gives me a sense of accomplishment. And to me, and to my autistic OCD brain, that is self-care. Probably going to draw a bath would also be that. So for that, I'll actually send you back to my vlog where I go in detail about how to do a meditative bath. But this is self-care to me. I can't believe we got to the end. Tomorrow is going to be the last video of the 12 days of Yule, and we're going to talk about where I hope that my practice takes me in 2024. So I hope that you tune in for that. And until then, I hope that we can exit patriarchy together, because there's always need for it.